Okay, well, let me go ahead and review what I had said. So the first thing I sifted some flour, baking soda, and salt. And I'm going to go ahead and put the recipe in the description below. I had somebody asking me about it and if I could start doing that. So I am going to start doing that, and I think that'll help a lot of people to be able to reference back when they're doing things themselves. So we got this set aside. Then we moved over to, I have a half a cup of sugar, regular sugar. I use organic, and then I also made some brown sugar, a half a cup of that. And all it is you take your regular white sugar and add a little bit of molasses to it until it's the darkness that you want. The next thing we're going to be adding in is some soft butter. You use 1 stick. And you can still hear me okay? No, it's running into some problems now again. Sorry about that. We're trying to work the kinks out. That's part of being live. Okay, how about that? Are we doing a little bit better? Okay, how about that? I'll just have you stay so that you can watch. All right, and so now we added the butter into this. We're going to get this whipped. And you want to use a paddle. All right, now I want to show you how you need to make sure that this is all incorporated. Don't leave chunks of butter. Make sure that the sugar and the butter are whipped up really well. Then the next thing we're going to add in is a half a cup of our peanut butter. And I want to tell you a little bit of history about the Fluffernutter. It's actually from a sandwich that is peanut butter and marshmallow fluff. And it's from back in about 1913, I think it said it was, in Massachusetts. And they actually wanted to make that the state sandwich. I have a few other things I wanted to teach you about it too that we'll go over once we put this into the oven. All right, let me just double check and make sure I got everything with going back and forth with that sound. So just to review, we have a half a cup of sugar. We have a half a cup of brown sugar. We have a half a cup of peanut butter. And the butter we already put in. And now we need 1 egg. And what I always do with the egg is I never crack an egg right into whatever I'm making. I had a bad egg once, and that is not a good experience. Oh, that's so cool. So your grandfather, you actually grew up knowing then, since your grandfather liked it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this whipped together. And I do want to push everything down so it incorporates good. Now the last thing for wet ingredients is we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And I like to use the pure vanilla extract. Now what we're going to do as we add the flour in, we're going to add a little bit at a time and just do it on a lower speed. That way it's going to incorporate good and it's not going to fly all up at you. And these are so good. They are chewy and gooey. Now what we're looking for is this to all incorporate together. All right, once you see it start sticking like this, then you're good. Now it is a little bit sticky, so I am going to put a little water on my hands. All right, now it's totally mixed up. There's nothing, no dry in the bottom. Now we just need to add in our marshmallows. We're not going to actually use the fluff. Remember, this is just a take on the Fluffernutter sandwich. Now the important thing is you want to make sure that these are frozen. And that's 1 cup that I'm using. Okay, you can see how that's all incorporated together. Put just a little bit more water on my hand so it doesn't stick. All right, now what I want to do is make sure that the marshmallows are all through, which they are. We're going to push it all together and we're going to roll it out into a log. Yeah, the artificial of anything is not that great. So now we want to go ahead and cut this out. Now I should be able to get 18, I had listed that I did 18 cookies. I like to use the serrated knife to make it easier, and I'm going to divide it in half, and then we'll do 9 per. So let me see. All right, we're going to start here. And let me move this out of the way. And I'm putting both trays in at the same time. So you want to make sure that both of your trays are the same type so that they cook the same amount of time. I did use parchment paper. I like to use that so that it doesn't stick. If you don't have that, you can easily maybe put some butter on there. And we're not pushing it down. And we did get 9 per half. And if you find that one needs a little more, then just do it. It's going to cook up together. So we don't have to worry about flattening them out. Just make them about the same size. And you don't want to put no more than 12 per pan. One, two, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And once again, just take the extra and divide it out. Okay, we're going to put those in a preheated oven at 350 degrees. And we're going to set the timer for 12 minutes. All right, now I wanted to tell you guys a few, let me get this. These are some of the, it says, where did the Fluffernutter sandwich originate? And then some of the facts are the Fluffernutter sandwich originated in Massachusetts in the early 20th century. It's also popular in New England. Then in 1918, Emma Curtis published a recipe for a peanut butter and marshmallow fluff sandwich called the Liberty Sandwich. In the 1920s, Archibald Query sold his marshmallow cream formula to the businessman Durkee and Mower. Then Durkee and Mower promoted the sandwich as a way to use their new product. The product was actually, when I said that 1913, the 1913 is when that snowflake marshmallow cream was actually produced the first time. Then in the 1960s, an advertising agency created the term Fluffernutter. And then they marketed the sandwich. And that's how it all started. And I thought that was pretty interesting on some facts just about that sandwich.
This is very easy to make. Anybody can do this without a problem. And it turns out good every time. And it's fun to have the kids be part of it because they're going to be eating those marshmallows. So make sure you freeze extra. I just put the whole bag in the freezer, so they're always in there. This is actually one of Tim's favorite cookies. Now, is there anything that you can think of from when you were a kid that just stands out that you used to love when your mom would make? Mine actually was not necessarily one particular thing that my mom would make, but what we got to eat when she did. Like, as an example, when she would make cake batter, we'd always be sitting right around when she was baking because we knew we had this bowl that she would use. It was a ceramic bowl. She had two different ones. One was green and one was a cream color. Isn't that funny how you can remember detail about your childhood? But somebody would get the bowl and then somebody would get the beaters. And it wasn't like this, a stand mixer. She had the handheld. So there were two of them. And so we were pretty excited about when you were able to get one of those. Do you have any memories like that where there's something that just stands out to you? So is chocolate chip then like what your kids think about you as, or? And then the other question I have, let's see. Oh, peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I actually still eat those. And that's something that my brother eats every morning. He uses that as a breakfast sandwich. And a tip for somebody who likes peanut butter sandwiches or peanut butter and banana, another thing to do is if you like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, you can actually fry them. When we were kids, my mom used to take peanut butter and jelly. She'd butter the outside just like if it was for grilled cheese, only we'd have grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. The only thing is when you're serving it to kids, make sure they don't touch it right away because that jelly would be hot. And another fun fact, wasn't it Elvis Presley that used to eat peanut butter and banana sandwiches? Oh, Tim's outside and he's yelling in because he's watching me out there. He said, and pickles. So I guess it was, yeah. So it was peanut butter, bananas, and pickles. Is that right, Tim? Thank you guys so much for stopping in today. This has been a lot of fun. It's fun making cookies and doing baking. I've really done baking most of my life. Back when I was in high school, my first job was at a convenience store. But back then, convenience store did not mean it was just run in and run out. We had fresh cut meats that we used to get sides in. We had a bakery that we used to bake there. And we had the deli and we would make sandwiches and everything. So back in the day, convenience stores, they used to be a very busy place. And so that's where I actually got my start in doing bakery. And then as time went on, I went to different stores and I learned different things. And I even got into cake decorating. But cake decorating can be very difficult on your hands and on your wrists. So that I ended up getting away from, and not too many years ago, actually, I got out of it. I still like to do the baking in that, but not in a heavy production way. Let me check on that. We got about 5 minutes. But I do have something exciting to announce. There is a little shop by me over on Lake Road, and they're called a honey shop, Henrietta Honey. She has a lot of different homemade items in there, and she does all the honey herself. She has hives in different locations throughout the city. She makes anything from soap to the fresh honey and candles out of the honey and different things like that. But she has other vendors that are in there that do pies and bread and different things. And the one thing she does not have in there is a buttermilk biscuit. And so that's something that I have worked on for a while now. And I think I got it down pat to where it's nice and fluffy. And actually, I did a video on it. So you guys can go back and take a look at that. But
sorry, I was wrong with bacon.
It was bacon.
Bacon.
Oh.
Bacon.
Here, he stopped in. So correction made. It is, for Elvis, he's referring to, it's bacon that was supposed to be on it. So thank you, Tim. But getting back to what I was saying about the buttermilk biscuits, I'm actually going to be able to have the buttermilk biscuits in her shop. So I may be able to do a little more baking and actually share that with others in the community. She does a lot of community work too. She works with schools and she does a lot of donations. So I feel good about getting involved with somebody who cares so much about the community. I'm not having any feedback myself, Lori, so you're not hearing me at all? I'm not having any feedback myself, Lori, so you're not hearing me at all? Yeah, it's not on my feed because I'm watching it on the tablet too. So this is actually what you guys would be seeing, and I'm not having any problems with it. I don't know if, Lori, maybe if you go out and go back in, it might work. You can do that on lives with no problem. Your dad was a master chef? Wow. What is your actual name? Cooking Watt Wist 99. What is your name? So I can reference that. Jessica. It's nice to meet you, Jessica. All right, we have a couple more minutes. I'm actually putting one more minute on there. I took a quick look at it, and I think I made a mistake. I probably let too much heat out. But with cookies, you want to just keep an eye on them. I'm sure all of you guys have made cookies at one point in time. Oh, they're looking really, really good. All right, so that was actually, originally I said 12 minutes, and I changed it and put a couple minutes onto it. So we're looking at about 14 minutes. Now, what I would recommend is probably, like I did, set it for 12 minutes. Make sure your oven is not running hot. I have a temperature gauge that I put in there and just verify what mine is every so often just to make sure. Wait till you see these though. Oh, the other thing I wanted to check with you guys on too, even for the viewers that see this after the fact, what is something that you would like to see on this channel for baking or even cooking? One of the things that I was thinking of doing next, and give me some feedback on it on what you think, I wanted to show how to do flan. Flan is not as hard as it seems to people, anybody who doesn't know what it is. But what do you think about that? Or what would you like to see? All right, we got 30 seconds. All right, I'm going to lay this down here so that we can put them here and you can see them. Now, are those not good looking? And if you want to add something special over top of them, you can melt some chocolate and drizzle some chocolate, and you'll be a hit at any place you take these to. Here, I'll show you one more time up close so that you can see them, how good they look. And one thing with these, you cannot eat these hot or warm. You really need to let these cool down, and then you're ready to go. Well, Jessica, thanks so much for coming. And Lori, I thank you for stopping in too. And I know there's somebody else that I'm missing on here. So Tim, thank you too for your help on everything today. And once we got everything set up, people could hear me and see me okay. I thank you so much for stopping by and having a good time with me. And I hope you come back on the comments and tell me about your adventure in making these Fluffernutter cookies. So we'll see you next time. And be sure to comment, make sure you like, and if you're new here, subscribe. So I'll see you next time.